coming to CSA, it was very different, and it took me some time to get used to, because um, until I finished my O levels, I was at my previous school. So
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of getting used. It was something completely new. It was a new atmosphere that I had to get used to when I came to CSA.
Yeah.
Um, Basically, at CSA, they focused on having a very small teacher to student ratio, and the maximum number of students in CSA was kept at 60. So there was only about 10
Mm-hmm.
students in a class. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that attention you got was superb. Like, the teachers knew what you were doing. If you went wrong, they were there to support you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they were always on your case to make sure you get through and you do your subject well. If you had questions, you could call them at any time you wanted. They would help you. And it's not
Yeah.
only um, like subject material that they taught you life skills as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life skills. Even there were counseling sessions. So many
Mm-hmm.
things that my previous school didn't cover that this school
Mm-hmm.
covered. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
those are some of the main differences I saw.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Now I forgot. The next question is, don't stop recording. We can continue from this. Okay. What was the next question supposed to be? I was actually thinking of a question to ask you from what you said, and then I forgot.
Can I pause this?
Well, I completely agree about everything that you said, because me myself coming from a different school, well, I didn't go to a semi-private school, but I did go to an international school. But
Mhm.
even then, the atmosphere was completely different, like you said. So I completely agree with you on that one. But taking from what you said earlier, we also had extracurricular that was compulsory.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, so when you did school, did you have any compulsory extracurriculars like that? I'm assuming that's a no. So how was that as well, like, because we had to stay until 4 and do it? So how did you find that?
Yeah, that was another thing I had to get used to, because I hated waiting at school till 4:30 doing extracurriculars. Like,
Yeah.
at my previous school, school was done at 1:30, and all the extracurriculars were either at end of school, so it will start around, like, practices would start around 2:30, or it will be
Mhm.
early morning before school started.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't mandatory. If you wanted to go, you could go. No one pushed you for it. But
Mm.
at CSA, the extracurriculars were mandatory. And in the beginning, like the first few months, it took me some time getting used to. Because
Right.
normally my routine would be at my previous school, go home like after school and sleep for a bit and then get up and
Mm.
study. So that's a routine I got used to for about 16 or 17 years of my life before I came to CSA. And
Yeah.
to break that habit was a bit difficult. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So
I agree.
yeah, so at CSA, like, those extracurriculars they had were quite important, like oratorics to martial arts, debating. Like, those helped me a lot. Like, looking back now,
Mm.
those helped me a lot.
Yeah.
So I have
And I think to add to what you said, we also had not only extracurricular that helped our physical health and to keep ourselves fit and whatnot, but we also had things that helped our mental health, like things like SMART.
yeah,
I think we also discussed this previously. It was an activity where we sort of spent time journaling, coloring, and things like that, isn't it? So I think that was also, for me personally, it was completely different, because I've never been in a situation where I had to sort of sit down and write about how I felt.
yeah,
Like, I've never done that, but I
yeah,
never
like,
knew what power that had
yeah.
up until we started doing that. So how did you find that? Because that was life changing for me. That those are things that I still do until now. I'm
Mhm.
way up. Like, I've left CSA and it's been a while now,
Yeah,
but these are things that I still do. So
yeah.
what about you?
I agree with you 100%. Like, smart helped me understand my emotional intelligence or my emotional
Yeah.
intelligence. Yeah, like, helped
Yes.
me. Like, I was a kid who struggled with anger management for a very long time, and like
Mm.
journaling helped with that. Basically,
Yeah.
putting down your emotions, putting down how you feel. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically reflecting how your stress management levels are, reflecting on your whatever that triggered you during the day at that
Mm.
smart time, like, really helps you understand how you feel as a person, and how you
Yeah.
can control your emotions. And then we had, what do you call it, boot camp prior to
Yeah.
exams. Yeah, boot
Yes.
camp helped me tremendously with self-discipline. waking up at 5 o'clock, coming to school by 6, then going to Independence Square for the jog, coming back to school by 6:30, 6:40, having breakfast,
Yeah.
having sastajan or whatever milk to just give you that extra
Push,
strength or
yeah.
push you need, and then sitting and doing 10 years worth of papers, messing up, getting scolded by teachers, just repeating your mess ups until you perfect them so you don't mess up at the exam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's so
mean,
nice reminiscing about these things. Like you bringing up all of these, like I'm just actually living them as you speak of it. So that
yeah.
is, wow, good times, no?
Yeah, good time. So like good 2 months. I mean, CSA like ends up becoming your family. Like everyone, you knew every student in that school, from your
Yeah.
ayahs to mallis, you knew everyone. It was like family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. 100%. 100%. Okay, so moving on to questions, I told you earlier that I had as your perspective from a teacher. So you started as a semi-private school student, and then you came into CSA, and then you came back again as a teacher to CSA. So how has that been? So we do have a 1 to 10, student to teacher ratio. So I'm a teacher to student ratio. How did that help? How did that sort of, so you studied at CSA, so you knew what the kids wanted and needed. So how was that for you?
Um, for me, basically, the way I teach is I show kids like videos, and if they have questions, they can call me anytime they want. I know sometimes some students who study late at night message me at like 1, 2 in the morning. They're like, "Sir, what's this question? How do I answer this question? Sir, which paper should I download?" So I help them with all of that. And it's not about teaching, like most, like there are some students who come to me with their personal problems, who need a bit of guidance. So then you help them with that, and you show them that you care, and that
Yeah.
you're there to support them in whatever difficult times or good times they need you, that you're there for them. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the way I teach. And most of those I learned by being a teacher at CSA, because when I was at my semi-private school, no one really cared that much about what any of the students did. But
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
CSA, the teachers were behind you. They made sure you understood everything, that you were like, they were there to basically look after you if things went wrong. Like, yes, you get scolded, but they don't scold you because they hate you. They scold you because they care for you and they
Yeah.
want to do better in life. Yeah. And
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
students, I think we fail to understand most of the time.
Mm.
So yeah, that's how teaching is.
That's great. That's I think that's great because you said when a student comes to me with a problem, I make sure I'm there. But I think that stems from what you didn't have when you needed it, right? I think that's amazing to me. And like I'm
Yeah.
so glad that I have this conversation with you, to be honest, because there's so many things that we've been students and now we understand better because now we are not a student anymore. So
Yeah.
now we're able to cater better to the upcoming generation, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm actually super glad about it. I'm glad that you're teaching now and you really take that role seriously. So I'm really super, super happy for you.